Another episode of Asexualized, My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know this channel is about asexual education, asexual dating, asexual relationships, and so this is the place to be, like I said, for education about asexuality. Please give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you enjoy it. I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualise.com and founder of Asexualise Academy. Hello, Michael. Well, they actually listened. Whether they heard what I said on this YouTube channel, sorry I missed the end of your last stream, or I would have said goodnight. No worries, Michael. It's nice of you to tune in tonight because I am later than usual. Been very busy doing various things. So yeah, I was just messaging an asexual friend back and I'm like, oh, quick, got to go on my live stream. So yeah, seems they've listened to me, or they've listened to someone, or they've had the ingenious themselves to actually come up on ASAP with a heterosexual button. So a heterosexual option, basically. So what was I saying on this channel for a long time? That if they're going to have sexuals on asexual dating sites and on Ace app, which is the asexual dating and social network app, they should really have the option of people saying they're heterosexual instead of saying confused all the time, because there's more and more people going on the asexual dating app called ASAP. There's more people going on there that aren't asexual, that are actually heterosexual. And I said on this channel, it would be fairer to people, to the sexual, the people, sorry, there's a lag on this, to the people going on the app, and also to the, it would be fairer to everyone if they were allowed to say they were heterosexual, basically. And if they were saying they were heterosexual, dating and relationships are all about honesty. And if you can't be honest from the very beginning of what orientation you actually are, then that is just going to get people off to a bad start before you've begun. And like I said, I'm quite good at finding out whether people are really heterosexual or asexual, I'm quite instinctively good with that, just sometimes by looking at their picture, profile picture and their bio. So last night I was messaging someone from Spain and he actually had heterosexual as his option. So I knew then that they got a heterosexual option on ASAP. Now I'm going to try and show you the option. I've got a few people messaging me on there at the moment. So let's see if I can get his profile up just to show that it's that it is an actual option now. So yeah, I was just actually impressed with that. So this is the guy. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's really difficult to see. Yeah, the light's not very good, is it? I don't think you can see it properly. I don't think you can see it at all. You can see the guy, but you can't see the writing. Ah, there we go. Really close up. Can you see? Heterosexual. I don't know if you can see that with the flag. You might have to read. It looks backwards on my screen, but hopefully it's right to you. See, heterosexual. The only thing is that it's still got the you see, Michael, that's good, but it's still got the asexual flag, which is a bit disappointing. I kind of wish they changed the flag as well, because I think it's a bit unfair to keep our flag on there. But as it is, hi everyone tonight. Hi Heather, nice to see you. I'm saying that finally it's the right way up to me. I see the ace flag. Yeah, that's good. Well, it is good you see it, but it's like, I kind of think they should have a different flag for heterosexual, because that person isn't asexual, and that is a little bit, oops, my screen's timed out now. That is it's a little bit confusing, I think, for people like who are just scanning down. It's a little poses a little bit of doubt, doesn't it? But I just think, to be fair, I think, at least they've got it on there at last. And as it is an asexual app, that's possibly why they kept the flag on there, because they might have to keep that on there for everyone because it's an asexual app. But I was just so happy that finally, I feel like I'm being listened to. I don't know if they've watched this channel and heard what I've been saying, or if they've just finally thought about it themselves and, or they've had feedback for some other people. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The point is they have it on there. And I think that's fantastic. Because like I was saying, I mean, to be fair to heterosexuals and sexuals in general, not just heterosexuals, you know, like pansexuals, bisexuals, homosexuals, we asexuals go on their dating sites. We go on sexual sites. So in order to make it fair, really, they, you know, sexuals should be allowed on our site if we're allowed on theirs. I mean, like you say, Michael, half the time I don't really understand it, but there are some, because of the sex point of view, but there's some asexuals that don't mind having sex. So I guess that's why they should be able to go on our sites, you know. But what I don't like is when they blatantly lie about it and they're putting the option of, oh, confused. It's like you're not confused about your asexuality, you're just confused about what asexual is, and there's no other option for you. But I'm so glad there's a heterosexual option on there now. I'm really hoping more people that are actually heterosexual on there start telling the truth. I mean, I think you'd be surprised how many heterosexuals are on there, actually, because I find out quite a few of them, as you know. So I just think, and I have been listened to by the Bristol Asexual Meetup on meetup.com, because I told him about pansexual being on there, and I looked, was it last night, and pansexual is now removed from his group tags. He didn't respond to me though, which I thought was a little bit rude, because if someone messaged me and I'm a member, you know, I'm a leader of a meetup group, I'm an organiser, and someone messaged me, I would at least acknowledge their message. But I guess because he's taken some action, he's actually acknowledged my message and he's took off the pansexual, because I said, do you realise there's sexuals in your meetup group? I'm guessing you do, because you've got pansexual in your group description. So he has removed that, to be fair to him. So I was quite impressed with that. He has actually listened to me on that. Which I think is good. It still says LGBT and inclusive, but obviously as asexuality is classed as part of LGBT plus QIA, then I can understand that. But at least he took the pansexual off there, which is really good. So I feel that, you know, we're making waves, really, because like I said, you know, if we go on sexual websites, dating sites, then really they should be allowed on ours to make it fair. It's just hard if you are sex repulsed asexual and you kind of want to keep away from people who might, you know, you might get in a relationship with or might start falling for, when clearly they'll need sex and you don't. But I suppose that could work the opposite way, that on sexual dating sites there could be some heterosexuals that, or pansexuals, bisexuals, homosexuals that fall in love with an asexual, and they really need the sex and they can't live without it, and they like in a dilemma that way. So, and I just think the more sexuals are integrated with asexuals, the more asexuals understand us, the better it's going to be for us in society. So I think at some point we definitely do have to come together more, but I just think the education really needs to be there. There like needs to be this middle part, which is education. I think that's what's lacking. So it's kind of like the people that now got their own heterosexual title on the asexual dating app. I think that's great, but I kind of feel like some education might be missing, as in they might not understand they're on a a dating app application, you know, dating app that's for asexuals and what that actually means. And then obviously when they approach people on the dating site, they might not understand that a lot of us won't want sex. And I think that should be addressed a bit. Do you know what I mean? It'd be nice if there was a little introduction on there saying what asexuality is for the people that don't really understand it and they're coming on to use the ace app when really they're not asexual. I think that would be, you know, it'd be, you know, why not use that app to educate people more and to really spread the message of asexuality more, because we need to be integrated more sexuals and asexuals together in order to create the bigger understanding of the world. You know, it doesn't have to be, relationships don't have to just be about sex, and we kind of have to like educate them and come together with them. I want a world where sexuals and asexuals can be side by side, completely understanding each other. And maybe we don't understand each other, as in the sense it's hard to grasp a concept if you're different from each other, but understand each other in a fundamental logical way, like, you know, this is sexual attraction, this is why people experience it, this is people who don't experience sexual attraction, this is why they don't experience it. So we're sort of on an equal plane to each other, and there's a greater understanding with each other, and we can forge more friendships and relationships which are more caring towards each other and considerate. Do you know what I mean? And so that's what I'd like to see in the future. But we have to at some point integrate with sexuals. But I need that understanding to be there. I need them to understand what asexuality actually means, because obviously we're living amongst sexuals 24/7, 365 days a year, the majority of us, unless we're completely from a different planet, which I feel sometimes we are, you know, because we're in a sexual minority. But you know, even so, I just think there needs to be this education bit, and I think, you know, I just think, I think it's great they've got their own option now, so that's a huge leap forward. I just would like to see the education bit up there. I would like to see on the ASAP, for example, a little pop-up or something saying, oh, do you know that asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction? That means there's many people on this site that won't actually like sex but still require a loving, caring relationship without it. You know, a little pop-up like that might be quite nice, I think. So it just gives that a bit of education. It's spreading awareness of asexuality to thousands of people. Do you know what I mean? I just think it would just benefit society a lot more if there was just that little bit of education about it. I mean, maybe they'll hear this video and put something like that in. It would be good. Because I just think, you know, I see it ASAP as a really good way of being able to spread the word. Just like, you know, like I do these YouTube videos because I know that I help spread the word. You know, I know there's thousands of people who watch this channel. I haven't got, compared to the amount of people that watch my channel, have viewed it, I haven't got that many subscriptions. But I know, like, even was it like a few weeks ago, I had 44,000 views. But I think about 10,000 of those have been since I've been live streaming daily since the beginning of July this year, which is, you know, really what I wanted to do. I wanted to take my awareness of asexuality and bring it to people's everyday lives. And for people to feel and understand what it's really like to be asexual in a highly sexualized world, and trying to navigate the dating scene, the relationship scene, trying to navigate in a world full of sexualized stuff, you know, trying to work your way around it, trying to see what's actually the truth or not, you know, trying to work out, you know, all the people that are actually not telling the truth, they're not really asexual, the people that are just the people that are, you know, like, you've got to be careful of people that can manipulate you, but you've also got to be open to love, and you know, the fact that that asexual love does exist with other asexuals. You know, as I've said before on this channel, I had one of my asexual friends, he went to meetups solidly nearly for 3 months all around the UK, and he's got the love of his life now, and they're getting married next year. You know, true love with another asexual does exist, and you can have it. It's not out of reach, but you have to go out of your way to do that. You know, it's not going to land on your lap. And a lot of asexuals, unfortunately, won't get out of their comfort zone, and they won't actually go anywhere outside their city. I mean, there's people that will, obviously, because they come to my meetups, and all those people, the majority, are looking for a relationship, and they're serious about getting it. And that's what it takes to get an asexual relationship. I'm not going to say you're guaranteed to get someone, because it's really difficult, but you're far more likely to get an asexual relationship if you go to a lot of different meetups, or have a lot of people come to your meetups like I do mine. You know, I meet foreign guys who come to my meetups. I've met 3 foreign guys so far who've come to my meetups, younger foreign guys, all in their 20s. So I haven't found a suitable one for a relationship yet. One of them, the first one, he wanted kids and I don't. So, and he is grey asexual. He's really too much on the sexual spectrum for me. He's grey sexual, and I think he would become demi as well if he was with someone. So yeah, and he definitely wants kids. So that was out, even though he didn't mind what age the person was, and his only requirement was a girl with blonde hair, which I have. But yeah, so we're still friends on Facebook, but he lived miles away. So in Newcastle, I think I told you that. I mean, he wasn't coming to date me or anything like that. It was coming for the meetup. But obviously, you know, when you get talking and you're talking about relationship needs and what you're interested in, you know, we did have a discussion about relationship needs, and we just asked each other about kids and all that type of thing. And he's like, oh, you know, he's asking me like, wouldn't I adopt? Wouldn't I do this, that, and the other? I was like, no. So, you know, it's just like when you're asexual in a meetup, you kind of like, if you do get on really well with someone, you might ask questions like that just to figure out if there's any possible chance with someone at all anymore, or anything, or just talk about it in general anyway. You know, like sometimes I go around the whole group and ask them, you know, who wants kids, who wants marriage, you know. It's just interesting to find out, isn't it? And then the second guy I met from the Asexual meetup. We're really good friends. We message each other regularly, and I think he's an amazing guy. Sadly for me, because we get on so well, he's aromantic, but he's beautiful looking. Really, really nice guy. I love loads of qualities about him. His intelligence, his productivity, the fact that he really likes learning about life. He really likes to maximize his time and energies. He's just, I just really like talking to him. I feel like we have a really good, strong friendship, and I really like him a lot. But he's aromantic. He's not romantic. And after I met him at the conference and told him it was beautiful, he said, I couldn't date you because you're romantic and I couldn't fulfill your romantic needs. However, I do actually think some aromantics can be really romantic. They just don't realise it, because the things they do can be romantic without them meaning to be. And I think that can be, I think that is possibly a way aromantics and romantics could be together. But obviously, if an aromantic doesn't like kissing and a romantic person does, that's no go, isn't it? So yeah, and this guy, he does have a preference for guys. I think I don't, you know, he's been seeing a guy recently, so but he said he likes women too. So, but yeah, he's aromantic, so no go, sadly. He's very beautiful looking. I do think that. And then I met a foreign guy at the recent Asexual meetup as well. He's good looking as well. He smokes, so I couldn't be with him anyway. And we're very different personalities. Yeah, very different. I thought he was a really nice person. He shared like secrets about himself with the group, and I just thought he was really, really nice person. But we're very, very different people anyway. I don't think me and him would be any probably better than just friends anyway. But I did tell him he looked beautiful as well, because I just think that life is so short that if I see someone who I think is beautiful, which is, I usually only say that to foreign guys, then I kind of want to tell them. I try and tell them in a way that's nice and kind, not a way that would make them feel uncomfortable. So, you know, I don't do it with any sort of feeling that they would say something back to me, because I know they won't. I know that the majority of younger foreign guys don't like me in the same way that I would probably like them if I had the chance. But yeah, so, you know, I just thought it was nice to meet him. He seems like a really nice person. I really hope he finds a good girl for him. With me and him are very different personalities, so I noticed that we like quite a lot of the different stuff, but we get on well when we're chatting, so I think that's interesting. But yeah, I just think that, you know, like I said, you can meet the love of your life. You can meet an asexual person for a relationship. To be honest, I really like you know, I've got a few asexual British friends as well. And some of them I'm really quite close to, a couple of them, but I'm just not aesthetically attracted to British guys. I just, you know, sometimes I kind of wished I was, or to older British guys, or well, when I say older, you know, birth certificate age, they'd probably still be younger than me, but older than I'd usually go for. But I kind of like, part of me thinks, oh, it's a shame I don't, because they seem like really good guys. But you know, I mean, I probably wouldn't be suitable for them anyway, in a romantic way. But you know, I just can't be attracted to British guys. Even though I've been with British guys in the past, just now it seems even the thought of kissing a British guy, especially on his chest or anything, it just repulses me. Not because they're not nice people, because they're beautiful people, just because I just can't imagine me doing it. It's just kind of weird for me. I can't imagine me being with a British guy ever. You know, I mean, if he was foreign but British born, that would be okay. You know, I really love coloured skin. I just think it's so beautiful to touch, to kiss, to hold. I just think it's really, really beautiful. I just think it's so, you know, like you see, like asexuals probably liken it to a beautiful painting or picture, you know. It's like when you see something really beautiful, you kind of like just want to touch it or kiss it or hug it or have it close. I kind of feel like that about coloured skin. I just think it's really beautiful. And so that's what I find quite hard, you know. I think sometimes it'd be really good if I was more attracted to British guys that are really good guys, but you know, at least I've got them as friends, like best friends, good friends. So that's great. And I can feel an inkling of romance for some of them, not all of them, but it's just not strong enough, you know, not enough to want to kiss them or be in a relationship with them. Like just not. So yeah. And I do tend to attract the more sexual guys for relationships, sadly. I think that is really difficult for me, because the guys that usually attracted to me to actually want to be in a relationship with me are the ones that are sexual, not asexual. Which I suppose it's good that ASAP has got the heterosexual option on there. There might be a heterosexual guy that likes me on there, but unless, like I said, there's education on there, a bit of education, like saying what asexuality is, you know, it could get really messy. Because, you know, like I said, if I'm sex repulsed and the person who's heterosexual needs sex, it's just not going to work, is it? So, and the majority do, in my experience and opinion. I think there's very, very few, very, very rare sexuals that can live without sex and be happy. I really, you know, I don't see it happening, to be honest. So yeah, I really need to be with an asexual guy, but I honestly believe I'm meant to be with a foreign guy. I just feel it all the time. I just know it. You know, I'm just not comfortable physically. I'm comfortable physically around British guy friends as best as I can be, but there's a difference between being comfortable with them as a really good friend and being comfortable being intimate with someone. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be intimate with them. I don't want to kiss their chest and stuff, whereas with a foreign guy, I would want to do all that for them, you know? I'd want to make them happy like that and stuff, you know? Still wouldn't want sex, but it's just because I'm asexual. I don't like sex. I'm not interested in sex. It doesn't interest me. If I was to have sex, it would more, you know, I know I'm not having sex anyway, but if I did, it wouldn't be with a British guy, but I'm not interested in sex, you know? I just can't be. Not anymore. I mean, I was never really interested in the past, but I've done it in the past, but I just don't feel like I even would want to try it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Or even be bothered with it. It's just like, I just can't be. I'd much rather have the kissing. That's what I've always wanted. I'd love to have a young foreign asexual guy to kiss implicitly loads and never have sex in my life. That would be my dream come true. You know, just loads of kissing, nice cuddling, bestest ever friendship, hanging out together, going on dates, chatting about anything and everything, being each other's best friends, soulmates, loving each other's lives, and just having a great time in life and just being best buddies. It would just be amazing, but with all the kissing, which is obviously very different to even some asexuals. A lot of asexuals, they're not like me. They're not into the kissing like I am, and that's what's so difficult. I find that, you know, in terms of compatibility with kissing, heterosexuals are more suitable for me in that way a lot of the time because they like doing that. But usually for them, it's a prequel to sex, you know, which I just can't be doing with anymore in my life. I really need to find an asexual guy that likes kissing as much as I do, and likes spending time with me like I like spending time with him. I think the road's going to be a very long one. But never mind, I've waited, what is it, 4 years so far to find my asexual foreign guy. Probably got another 5 to 10 years to find him, but I'll find him in the end. I'm sure he's out there. I just like, you know, when you feel like you've got so much love to give in your heart to someone, and you just want to burst it out into them and just want to hug them and kiss them and cuddle them and be in their arms and then be in your arms and just love them so much and say, everything's going to be all right. I'm here now. Yay! Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel like. I've only kissed relatives like my aunt when I've gotten presents from her, or my mum when I've gone to bed. Do you kiss them on the cheek, Michael? Because I know some people, they kiss people on the lips that are relatives or family, but I was always brought up really in general not to do that. I think my grandma or grandma might have tried to kiss me once or twice on the lips, but in general, like my parents are like non-kissy, but if they do, they kiss on the cheek. But my mum lately, it's really funny. Like several weeks ago, I forgot to give my mum a kiss on the cheek when I left, when they dropped me off home. And my mum told me off the day. When I phoned her up, she's going, you forgot to give me a kiss on the cheek last time I saw you. I'm like, oh, did I? I've never done that before. I've got other things on my mind at the moment. My mind's been a bit preoccupied. But it was before the thing with Chestnut happened. So, you know, but I've had like lots of things on my mind. I kiss either on the cheek or on the lips. Oh, right, Michael, that's really weird. For me, that's really weird to hear you kiss a relative on the lips. See, I would never do that usually. It would be out of order for me to do that. It would be going over a boundary. It'd be like, that is just something I do in a relationship with people. So that is really interesting, because I know people are brought up different ways, but for me, kissing on the lips is an intimate thing that you should only be doing with a partner if you're in a relationship with someone, not with anyone else. So it's kind of too intimate, and if it's a family member, it feels a bit weird. It's kind of like, because I think my grandma and granddad tried to do it a time or two, and it's a bit like, yeah, I'm not your girlfriend. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's just like the boundary I don't usually get overstepped, because it's very interesting. It's very interesting, that is. Yeah. I find that a really intimate thing, kissing on the lips. Very intimate. Even if it's a little peck, I reserve that for a partner if I have one. So, but I thought it was really nice. My mum's like, "Where's my kiss on the cheek?" I did think that was really nice that she missed that. Bless her. So that was really good. So I try also to remember. I think that's the only time I've forgotten in my life, actually. She said, "You've never done that before." What was like going on? She knows I got a lot on my mind. But yeah. So anyway, good for ASAP, isn't it? For having that heterosexual option on there. No, maybe there'll be more people that's actually, I'm looking at it again now, maybe there'll be more people that's actually honest and put that down now. So, and maybe we can start actually seeing all the sexuals on there. I reckon some won't change it though. They'll probably think, well, I'm not changing it now because I've said I'm this all the way along. Do you know what I mean? So probably won't change it. But I just think for the people who come on there, it's going to be very interesting, I think, to monitor that and find out, you know, how many sexuals are honest for a start, and how many are actually coming on the app, and, you know, more than asexuals. Because I think, you know, it's kind of really accessible easily. So I think there's going to be a lot more sexuals come on there. But, you know, hopefully, eventually, there'll be some that can live without sex. Wouldn't that be marvellous? Like, be quite a lot of dreams come true. I don't think it's going to be tons of them, to be honest. But maybe some people will get absolutely fed up with sex themselves after a while because of all the sexualized stuff in the world. And they'll just be like, oh, it's a turn off now because I've just got it in my face 24/7. I mean, that's kind of like, I guess that's more of an asexual thing to say, but you know what I mean? It's just like some sexuals, surely they must get a bit fed up, but like some sexuals, they just get turned on by it constantly. The images, they just provoke erotic responses in their body and their minds, which is the difference, because obviously in asexuals, we don't tend to get erotic in the mind and relate it to wanting to have sex with actual other people. So, you know, whereas sexuals do. So that's a huge difference. But, you know, I would just like hope that, you know, it'd be nice if the sexuals felt so saturated by this highly sexualized society with all the sex going around that they'd just be fed up with it. But like I said, for them, a lot of the time, I think it turns them on. And so it makes them want sex more. Do you know what I mean? Which is a bit like an addiction, which is, I suppose, is a bit like chocolate when they put just shed loads of sugar in the chocolate, and fizzy drinks, they put tons of sugar in because sugar's very addictive because it keeps you wanting more, which is kind of why they advertisers go that way with the media. It's because the majority of people are sexual, and by shoving up these images and these videos and provocative stuff all the time, it's getting people quite addicted to it, so they want more of it. So when they see the advert again, they're clicking on it all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like a drug to them. So it's just that doesn't do anything for me. It turns me off. If I see scantily clad women stuff, I mean, sometimes with the images though, in my body, I get arousal response, which is so annoying because I'm not interested in sex. And sometimes my body gets set off by some images. I'm like, what's going on? Just forget about it. But my mind's not interested, but my body is kind of like, I feel like I've been reincarnated before, which I've always thought I probably have anyway. But it's kind of like, was I a different person in a different life? Was I sexual in my other life? Because, you know, when these arousal things come up in my body from these images, which in my mind and the rest of me, a remote in their head, laugh out loud, yeah. A remote in their head, exactly. It's like a programming though, Heather. It really is. That's what a lot of these adverts do. But that's, you know, like if I've been a different person in a different previous reincarnated life or something, you know, well, that was my old life. I might have been sexual in my old life. I don't know, because like I do get aroused in my body from images. It's like, but I'm not interested in sex. I hate women's bodies, but if I see them naked sometimes, my bits play up, and it's like, oh, gross. What are you doing? You know, it's like my bits have got a mind of their own. It's like, please, I don't want to know. you know, but I hate seeing women's naked bodies. I'm naked repulsed. I'd rather see if I had to see a body naked, it'd be blokes, but I'm not interested in blokes' bodies naked, apart from the chest. That's nice if they're foreign, but I don't like guys who show their chest off to all the different women and all the different people in the world. It's just like a total turn off to me, you know, having them. I just found out that I'm ace. Oh, hi Lou, how are you? Oh, welcome to this channel. It's really nice to see you. How does it feel when you first find out you're asexual? I mean, for me, it was like a revolution. It was like, oh my God, I've been living in this world where I only thought there was me who's asexual. And then all of a sudden I find that there's this whole community of people, thousands of people that are like me in the world. And it's like, whoa, where have they been all my life? That's what it felt like for me. And it was like such a relief. I'm like, because I honestly believed that I was the only one in the entire world, planet, universe that didn't want sex. I actually totally believed that. I thought, you know, there's only me who doesn't want sex in this world. And that's when I went to the counsellor, because I was so fed up and upset that, you know, that I wanted a relationship without sex. I was hoping she'd help me, and then she turned around and said the worst thing possible, and that was that you'd need to have sex in order to keep a good guy. And that was horrible. The only good thing about that experience is it led me to be quite peed off and angry, and I went back home and upset, and I went back home and I googled I love kissing but not sex, and then it came up with asexuality, and after 3 weeks I found out basically that I was asexual. Definitely fitted me. Where else on the spectrum? I've always thought there was something wrong with me, and I found out the other day when I was doing research. Well, I'm glad, Lou, that you found out, because it just changes your whole life, doesn't it? You know what I mean? For the better forever in my case. I mean, 2014 I found out I was asexual. It's just incredible. I mean, it still makes relationships hard, because it's harder to get a relationship in general if you're asexual than sexual, because obviously there's less asexuals in the world and less people that don't want sex. But I still think it's fantastic to know there's other people. And I hold asexual meetups in my city. I'm a heteromantic ace. So am I, Lou. I'm a heteromantic ace. I'm female. Preferring, you know, well, just liking guys. I live in the UK, but I hold asexual meetups in my city in the UK, and it's fabulous because I get to meet asexuals in person offline, and I tell you what, it's an incredible feeling. It's so empowering if you can get to a meetup. The majority of people that come to my meetups do not live in my city. They live miles away, like 4+ hours, a lot of them away. Do you know what I mean? Some of the people, like, thank you, Lou. Thank you. Yeah, I had a meetup recently on the 8th of November, and it was just incredible, you know. And there was, in the end, there turned out to be 7 of us that came for the meal at the Chinese. And then we went around the Christmas market together, and we saw the Christmas lights being switched on in my city. And the music was playing, the bands were all playing, you singing out loud, and it was really good. I'm the only extrovert in the group, so when we were in the crowd, I was jumping up and down, and all the other people who were with me were kind of just watching, videoing and stuff like that. Whereas I was just jumping up and down, doing my thing. But they know, you know, the good thing is they're my friends, and I can, you know, the majority of people that come to my asexual meetups are my friends, like, you know, that I've met online, that I've seen at meetups, that then become my lifelong friends, you know. And a lot of them I keep in contact. Some of them I see outside of meetups, I see on their own on a one-to-one basis. And although my official meetup was on the 8th of November, I had a preliminary meet-up the night before. So a bunch of us got together the night before and all met up for food, drink and chat. So we had like a meet-up before the meet-up. And then because a lot of asexuals stay in hotels, I see asexuals over a period of days. So the first asexual turned up on the Friday. We spent like half the whole day together when he turned up in the afternoon. And the last asexual actually this time left on Tuesday morning. So I was seeing asexuals over a period of 5 days, and it was fantastic. There is nothing better than experiencing that in-person warmth from other asexuals. You just can relate to each other, even if you're completely different in personalities. You've got different hobbies, different interests. The commonality of the lack of sexual attraction, not being like particularly interested in sex, it's just amazing. It just brings you all together, and your hobbies and interests just can be really far out and different. Your personalities can be different, but because you share this one common ground, you've got things to talk about all the time, and you are interested in learning about other people that are different to you, because I guess there's less of us. You're more inclined to listen to other people more. You're more inclined to accept people for who they are and their differences, because once you find other asexuals and you're like, oh my God, there are people like me, you kind of respect them, and you kind of like listen to them. And even if they're different, I feel that you can accept them a lot more than you probably would do the average person being different to you, because you kind of like respect them so much for being asexual, and because you have that thing in common, it kind of like automatically bonds you in some way. So even if you're very, very different, I was talking about the young foreign guy that came to my last meetup and said we were very, very different, me and him, in personalities, but you know, it's really nice to talk to him. We got on really well when we were chatting, because although we're so different, we still share the one common goal that is, you know, that is the lack of sexual attraction. We're not bothered about sex. By the way, please give this video a thumbs up if you're liking the content, because it really helps this channel out. So yeah, it was just incredible. If you ever get a chance, Lou, to go to an asexual meetup, please do. You know, there are if you go on, thanks for the thumbs up. I have not met up with anyone yet, but there are a few up here where I'm part of an ace group on Facebook and posted up who lives near me. That's good. Yeah, keep posting who lives near you. And if you go to asexuality.org, I don't know if you know, Lou, about asexuality.org yet, but asexuality.org, otherwise known as Aven, A-V-E-N, if you Google it, it's basically called the Asexual Visibility Education Network. And its website is asexuality.org. And basically, what happens is if you go there, there's a section, it's the biggest online community for asexuals for a start, and there's a section called Meet Up Mart, and you click on that and you can find a list of all the meetups near where you live. There might not be any specifically in a city near where you live. You might have to travel miles, because some of them in certain countries and places are miles apart. But at least you can see them all in your country. You should be able to see all the different ones that are happening. Some happen more regularly than others. Like my asexual meetups, the national ones that I do, where people come from all over the UK. Basically, they travel miles. You're from the USA. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's a shame you're not in the UK, because you could come to a meetup. Obviously, anyone from USA can come, but it would require transport and travel, which, you know, not everyone can afford. So you're always welcome to come along. But, you know, there are meetups in the USA. You just need to go to Meetup Mart on asexuality.org. And also, like you said, post in Facebook groups, because I run 5 asexual groups on Facebook, 3 of which are dating. And one of them's for the UK, but the other 2 aren't. And I run an asexual friends group, and the majority of people are from the USA in them. So you should have less of a problem. But I know USA is so spread out. I mean, people are all in different cities, different places in the USA, because it's huge, isn't it? So trying to find someone near you might be a bit difficult, but it depends where you are. I mean, I've got a friend who runs the Utah asexuality meetups. He runs all them. But there's other people that run several throughout the whole of the USA. So, you know, that they run, you know, different people run different meetups throughout the USA. So definitely go to Meetup Mart on asexuality.org, and it should list the ones in America and the different places they are. But, you know, it only takes one person to start a meetup. So even if you find anyone that lives relatively local to you, or like half an hour and a half away, you two are prepared to travel, or more people are prepared to travel to meet up with you, you know, you can meet halfway or something, you know. I always personally usually... Oh, that's good, Lou. Yeah. I always personally, you know, if I'm meeting someone on my own... for example, because I'm a heteromantic, if I was meeting a guy on my own and not in a big meetup, I would always Skype the person first for safety. I cannot, you know, reiterate that enough. I mean, obviously, I think you're probably new to this channel, so you don't know all the videos I've previously done, but for people's safety, whenever they're meeting someone online, offline, you know, if you're not meeting them in a whole group and you're just having a meet up between you two, that's great, but please Skype them first or video chat with them via Facebook first, because, you know, you don't know who they are offline. You know, not everyone's honest as they should be, and so, you know, it's always best to meet them. Some people, for example, they do use profile pictures that are years old, and they're a lot different to what they look like in their profile pictures. So you have to be aware of that. I just think it's a safety thing. I mean, you know, even, you know, not all women are honest either. So, you know, it's always best to do that. I had a bloke who had an online friend. I've got a bloke friend who's asexual, who had an online friend. And I did a video about narcissism. And he said that the video I did was really helpful, like 12 signs of a narcissist, I think it was. And he said he actually had a woman like that. He travelled across the globe to meet this woman that he'd been friends with online for some time. And when he got there, she said, "I don't have time to see you now." And so he just wasted all that money, all that time, and it ended up being very unpleasant for him. So I'd always say, you know, if it's, you know, like, it's best to go to an organised group meetup first of all, if you can. But I had my first meetup, which is me and 2 other women in my city. That's a shame. Yeah, I know. You just have to realise it does happen sometimes. I just want to let you know, because on this channel I tend to say the good stuff and the not so good stuff, so that people have a balanced view, and that, you know, because I feel like, although I'm not responsible for other people, people are responsible for their own actions and decisions in life, I kind of feel like I have a responsibility with this channel and to my community to just let people know that not everyone is as honest as they should be. You know, and people come to, like, it's like there was a guy who lives in my city who was going to come to my last city meetup, and he offered to meet up with me beforehand on his own. Now, I don't know him, I've never met him before in my life, so I said, you know, I would definitely consider that, but I want to meet you in a group first, because that's just the way I feel. I mean, you know, if I was going to meet him on my own, I'd want to video chat with him first, because, you know, I just feel that's the right thing to do, you know, for safety of the person. Obviously I always meet them in a public place, you know. But my first meet, I was with 2 women, and they were online, and we met up in Nando's. We actually didn't video chat first. I guess, I mean, maybe this is a bit stereotypical of me, but because there were 2 women, I mean, it's more than one person on their own anyway, you know. It was 2 people, which is always safety in numbers anyway, so it wasn't just one person. And because they were the same sex as me, I guess I felt comfortable enough to meet them, and we met in a Nando's, a public place. But if I was meeting a guy on my own, because I'm heteromantic and, you know, I'm attracted to guys, they're attracted to me as well usually, and I usually get the highly sexual guys attracted to me, unfortunately, then you know, I always video chat if it's one-to-one. If I'm meeting them with more than one person, like I said, it's not necessary, unless I want to do that, to check them out for the group, you know. So yeah, some of the activities we've been on for asexual meetups, just to give you an idea, we did we meet up for food and drink and a lot and chat, because asexuals, I'm happy I'm not like a normal guy. Laugh out loud. Oh, bless you, that's really sweet. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm not like a normal girl, really. Oh, you'll probably know me if you watch this channel. Yeah, I get attracted to younger foreign guys here at Asexual, and I live in the UK and love it. So yeah, I get attracted to younger guys, nowhere near my birth certificate age. So yeah, and I'm quite far out. I know. I have some male traits as well, which I don't mind talking about. You know, I think, well, in every male and female, we all have some male traits, we all have some female traits, but, you know, we choose whether or not to show them. Traditionally, in females, in business, you do have male traits anyway, because you're like focusing, like trying to control situations in business. You're trying to like negotiate things. This is kind of called male energy. And then, you know, you have something called female energy, so you kind of do that anyway. But I rather than just like having that as business, which I do, I've still got like girl traits, because I love, like, I'm a Disney princess girl like type person, so I kind of like have the male type of traits in the business side of me, because I do entrepreneur stuff. And then I've got like the quirky kid side, girl side of me in my lifestyle and what I like to do. But I'm not a housewifey type at all. I hate housework, you know. I'm not into doing that for a guy whatsoever. He can cook for and clean for himself. I'm not interested in that. It doesn't appeal to me at all. I don't want to do it to make him happy, because it would make me miserable, you know. I'd rather be building a website than doing my own washing up, let alone doing anyone else's. I save my washing up to do. I use paper plates, because I hate washing up that much. So paper plates, chuck it away. I use silver trays as well, like to put my food in the oven. So I don't even use oven trays anymore. I chuck them away. The silver foil things like you use in a takeaway. So I'm really not like a typical girl, as it were, which I love. I think it's really good to be different. Really good to be different. And yeah, some of the meetups I've done. I mean, the last one, we went to a beautiful Chinese meal, which just on the 8th of November. Saw the my city lights being switched on for Christmas. Went to the Christmas market in my city as well, so that's really fantastic. And then all the lights were lit up later on. There's live music playing and bands, so that was great. The time before that, we did gaming Oh, virtual reality gaming, that was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I'm not a gamer actually, but I got the highest score of 9,300. And the guys, although some of them, the guys have more experience at gaming than me, even though they're not really proficient gamers or do gaming that much often, they've had more experience in their past than I have. But I just loved it. I loved it. One of my friends that went there, he's like, "Well, that's kind of more of a male thing to do." I'm like, "Yeah, I love that type of thing. I love robots as well." You're not a gamer, no. Neither am I. No, I've got a Nintendo DS, but I've only used it a few times since I've had it, like years ago. I might sell it actually. I was thinking about doing that soon. I put a game online, one of the games online to sell. Really, the only thing I've played on there is Professor Layton. I do like whodunits. Your thing is RC cars. Is that racing cars? Yeah. Well, out of all the video games, that in the past, like there was a guy friend I used to hang out with when I was a kid, and he used to take me to amusement arcades. And he used to pay for me to go on the rides, and it was a driving game. So if I had to pick a game, Professor Layton I like on DS because it's like a whodunit. I like Cluedo board games and stuff like that. So I'm quite into detective stuff and working things out. And it uses a bit more brain power. But in terms of like video games, usually it was car games that I was interested in because that's like, if I had to choose something, racing and off-road remote control cars. Oh, wow. I've got a remote controlled aeroplane, but I've never used it. So I might have to sell that as well because it's still in the box. But it's a helicopter. I'm looking at it now. Honeybee series. It's a really good series, but it's brand new actually because it hasn't been used. I've never used it, and I can't really use it around here very easily because there's no grass or anything to put it on. Literally, it would be going into residents' places. So it's kind of like it's been in the box, but it's beautiful. It was always a dream of mine to have that, actually. I always wanted a remote control helicopter or plane. And I just thought, yeah, it's brilliant. So I got it. It was a dream, but I haven't actually used it. It's still in its box. It's beautiful, though. But yeah, so I get what you mean about racing cars. It's like kind of nice to have the speed. And when I was a kid, I also had like a yellow, an orange car. And I also had a pink car that when you moved it, TF. I love puppies, TF. I don't know what TF means. But I used to have this pink car and I used to drive it along and sparks used to come out of it. Oh, and I love Knight Rider. Lou, do you like Knight Rider? Because Knight Rider is one of the most awesome TV series as ever. With Michael Knight. I used to love the kit car because I love robots. I'm really into robotic films. Again, that's quite a guy trait thing, isn't it? I'm into action movies, superhero, and I love robotic films. They're amazing. I can't get enough of it. Like I like the Will Smith iRobot film. That is so cool. And I love all the Iron Man films. They are amazing. And I find that quite a few asexuals actually are into superhero movies. You used to watch it. What? Knight Rider. Oh, that's awesome. It's great, isn't it? Oh, I love Knight Rider. Like, I want a kit car. I don't drive, actually. But I said to my parents it doesn't matter because in a few years' time, there'll be automatic cars. Yep. Oh, man. Do you want an automatic car as well, then? I'd love a talking kit car. It'd be like my best friend. I often joke that I'll be one of the first people probably in the world to have a robotic boyfriend. But I mean, they had a remake but never seen it. Yeah, they changed the kit car, black one, to red car. And yeah, I like the old one too. I did see the programmes with the red car in it, but I prefer the old one. It's much better. Sometimes I look on YouTube because there's old series of them on there, and there is there's a car. It was a Mustang, the new one. Oh, I know they changed it to red, and I'm like, why have they changed it to red? Black's classic, isn't it? I love black cars, but I actually like motorbikes as well, but I can't drive one. I took a CBT lessons, and I had an accident on a moped 2 years ago. I had two accidents of moped. One was I actually got run over by a moped 3 days before my 12th birthday, and then later on in my life, I decided because I wasn't getting on with driving, that I'd try a moped to get a moped license, and I did a CBT, but it went really badly wrong, and they put me out on I went to do the lessons, and then I went to go on the road, and what happened is there was a people that had already gone out of the road, And the people that had already gone out the road before, I'd never been out on the real road, I'd only been on the track. They had the instructor behind them. The instructor I was at a T-junction, I was coming up to the T-junction, and I wasn't very, because I'd just been this first time on the road, coming to the T-junction, and I instead of coming up and then turning like that, instead I went like that and went into a parked car underneath the front wheel in the middle of the road. I had to literally pick the moped up off my body. It landed all on my right thigh, and I was injured after that, and I had to get on it and drive it back to the centre again. Thank you, Lou, that's really sweet. Yeah. And the sad thing was, the instructor went off with the other guy, the experienced guy, the guy that had already been out on the road. He should have been behind me. That was really neglect and bad on his part. He should be behind me watching me, but no, instead he was in front of me and went off with the other person. So I was left to pick up the moped on my own, off my body, and it was like really something weird, like out of a movie. Like when I picked myself up, I got myself out of the road. I realised I have to drive back to the test centre myself because I'd have no choice. Luckily, it was on the main road, the majority of it going back. And these people came out of their house and literally got in their car and took off in their car, which was the car I actually went underneath. They did that like I don't know, a minute or two later. It was because I saw them doing it, and it was only a T-junction. It was really built up area, and I was like, crikey, that is just really weird. It's like something out of a movie when something happens and you don't expect it to happen. It's like, like no, like, are you all right or anything? They obviously, I don't even know if they saw me go under it. I don't know, but it was really weird. They just came like a minute. Well, it must have been like a minute later because I was still in their road. I was just going up. So it's really bizarre, really weird experience. And so, yeah, I went back to test centre and I asked them for my money back. I phoned them up and said what happened. I mean, my friend picked me up at the time and my leg was really bad. I think I might have had to have crutches in the end. I'm not sure. But I know I had crutches another time because I fell down 11 stone steps. I've had quite a lot of accidents in my life, which is not good, which is part of what contributed to fibro, and abuse contributes to that as well. So I've had quite a lot. But yeah, did you go to the hospital? No, I didn't this time, I don't think. I've been in quite a few accidents, so it's hard to remember. But my friend, he said to me, do you want me to stay with you and help you? And I said no at the time, but my bruising was all down the right hand side, so I can't remember if I don't think I went to the hospital that day. I can't remember if I went to the doctors. I think I must have gone to the doctors at a later date. I think I must have gone and got it checked out because I remember my right side was just completely bad. It was all like bruised all down. But I know that when I fell head first down 11 stone steps, I was on crutches for a month with that, and that I did go to the hospital to get physio treatment on that. So yeah, I've had quite a lot of accidents in my life. So but yeah, the CBTs were I never got my money back. They said, oh, you can come back again and have the lessons all over again, basically for free. I said I don't want that. So they wouldn't give me my money back, and I just thought I was so bad. Because I didn't want to go back again. Why would I want to go back when I was injured? Do you know what I mean? Even if it's later on, I didn't want to go back because I didn't trust them anymore. How can I trust them after that? I mean, it was lucky the car was parked. If the car had not been parked, I could be dead. Do you know what I mean? It was just because, like I said, they came out of their house a couple of minutes later, 1 or 2 minutes later. So that could have been me splattered on the floor. I was fortunate. There was just my, but the whole thing landed on top. My leg was under the car and the moped smacked, was on top of me at the same time. So I was like, I had no choice but to like go and pull it off me. Then pull my leg up, then go back on it and drive back to the test centre. And then after that, it was just horrendous. But yeah, my friend picked me up in his car. I remember that. His name was Andy. He wasn't asexual and he did fancy me, actually, which is why I told him, no, I'll be all right on my own, even though I partly felt like I'd like him there to look after me because I was living on my own and hadn't really got anyone looking after me. But I knew that he fancied me and I didn't really feel that way about him. He's British and he was older, and even back then, I've never been that interested in older British guys. Like years ago, I used to be interested in British guys that were around the same age as me, really. Maybe like 1 or 2 years older, and that was it. But he's quite significantly older than me, and he just like facially, I think he had a tash and stuff, and long hair, and he wasn't my type, but I thought he was a really nice person. And that's partly why I said no to him looking after me, because I thought I didn't want to give him the wrong impression that I liked him more than I did in that way. I thought he was really sweet and kind, but and part of me thought like I would have liked him to stay to look after me because I was really in a bad way. But I thought no, it's better just to be on your own, Sandra, and try and deal with it yourself. But it was a hard time. I remember that because I remember I was in a lot of pain with my leg at the time. So yeah, but I thank God that I was like it wasn't moving, because I'd probably have a leg chopped off or be dead by now. So I thank God that I was still alive, and I've had quite a few lucky narrow escapes, do you know what I mean, in my life. So I just don't think driving's for me. I can't drive a car. I took so many lessons. I took was it 86 or 96 lessons in my life over 2 years. My parents weren't very happy. They paid for lessons for me. It took me 32 lessons, I think it was, to get clutch control. I couldn't get the clutch. I mean, if I ever had to go back on a car, I'd do automatic. I wouldn't do clutch. I just can't deal with it. But the road markings, I just don't get them. When I was like, I did this from 17 years to 19 years, and they told me I need to leave driving because my problem, my concentration, then come back to it later in life. But I had a couple of other people assess me, and they pretty much concluded I was all right on the main part of the road, but any junction or anything like that I wasn't great with. And I don't enjoy driving, so I don't see a point, so I don't do it. I don't think I need it. Both of my cars are manual. I love it. Oh, you got 2 cars, have you? That's great. I don't mind other people driving me. Like my dad drives my mum everywhere because my mum doesn't drive. So my dad drives, it's fine. I thought if I end up with a load of money in years to come, I'll just hire a chauffeur. But where I live in my city, I love, because I don't need a car anyway. It's got access. I live in a reasonably sized city, and I can get easy access to bus, train. It's even got its own plane if I flew, but I don't fly because I don't like flying. But it's even got its own airport, my city. But you'd have to get a taxi out to the airport. It's not in the city itself, obviously. It's on the outskirts of my city. But if I really wanted to, I could go flying as well. But like not to every country, because you have to go off to London and then fly from London to there. But I hate flying. I've only ever flown twice before in my life, and that was horrendous. I can't stand it. It just upsets me, so I don't do it. But I went by Eurostar last year to Euro Disney. That was absolutely incredible. It was for my 21st mindset birthday. And it was just brilliant. It was the first time I'd ever been abroad on my own, though. So that was really scary, because it's when they were having the French president election, and there was a lot of terrorism going off in France. And when I went to the airport, not the airport, sorry, the Eurostar port, I had to change at Lille. So when I was at the Eurostar port, when I was at the, changing, and I had to wait at Lille, was it for an hour and a half? They had these 4 people with massive machine guns and stuff like that, which was great, but for protection. But they were like all congregated together, and I'm thinking, if there's any problems anywhere else and you all stood together, they look like action figures. They just look like something out of a movie, and they look like quite macho men that were literally showing off their macho-ness, like you see toy soldiers or something. They just look like them. It was quite funny. I'm glad I was sort of thinking about it in a humorous way, really, because it was obviously quite serious as well. And it was obviously quite daunting seeing those big, thick guns. It's like, oh my God, But I was like, it's kind of like 50-50. In one way, you're really relieved that someone's there with a gun, and the other half, you're feeling like really anxious that they've got the guns in the first place. So it's kind of like, really mixed emotions. But yeah, it was kind of scary going on the Eurostar, because last time I went 4 years before. I went with my cousin, and she's used to go abroad. She goes flying on her own everywhere. So she's used to go abroad, and it was straight through to Disneyland Paris. But this time I had to change at Lille, so I didn't know what to expect. And I'd never been abroad on my own, and I had to use my own passport going through a terminal with no help. Like my cousin was telling me before, like, oh, do this, do that. Whereas this time I was like completely on my own. I'm like, oh my God. And I went to get on this train to change, this Eurostar train, and then I didn't realise that was in the I got on and it was the wrong carriage, and I was supposed to, okay, Michael, nice to see you, nice. I'm just finishing up now anyway. But yeah, when I got on but yeah, if you got to go, have a good night. Yeah, so I got on this Eurostar, and I got on the wrong carriage, and it's like, then it'd been there, like the train I think had been like there for some time, and then I didn't realise I had 10 minutes to run down the other bit and get on the other part of the train. But it ended up being the same train anyway, so I don't really think it made that much difference in the end, because I think it still stopped at the same stop. So it's kind of like really confusing. But I mean, it was a bit rude of me because I did bash past this woman. I didn't mean to, but I was just in such a hurry and I didn't want to miss it because I was on my own, quite scared. But I did knock into her. I said, I'm really sorry, but I don't usually do that because I thought, oh gosh, Shanna, that's really rude of you. But I didn't do it on purpose. It's just because I was going really fast and I knocked into her by accident. So I said sorry, but I felt really bad about that. But yeah, so that's a lot to, I've just talked about so much on this nearly hour of chatter that I think I'll leave it there. But it's really nice to see you, Lou. I'm glad you've realised you're asexual. I'm glad you're a heteromantic like me. Woohoo! The majority of asexuals tend to be aromantics, so those who lack romantic attraction as well as sexual attraction. So if I meet another heteromantic, and especially as it's nice to chat to you as well, then it just makes me feel awesome or awesome. It's a shame you live in the USA, otherwise you could come to my meetup in the UK. Anyway, I'm going to love you all and leave you for now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because I'd love to get this video high up in search engines. Thank you, Lou. Really nice to see you. Thanks, Heather, for tuning in. Thanks, Michael, for tuning in. Thanks for the thumbs up. It's brilliant. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button now. I'd love to have you as part of my community here. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. There's a bell icon below. If you hit that bell icon, you'll get notified of every time I gave a thumbs up and you got a sub from me. Oh, thank you, Lou. Oh, that's really kind of you. That's great. Thank you. Thanks, Heather, as well. I really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for subscribing. Oh, thanks, Lou. Oh, I love the hearts. Oh, purple as well. Asexual colour. That's amazing. One to you. And hopefully you've hit the bell icon, Lou, as well, because then you'll get notified of every time I go live, like now, because I do live streams at the moment every single day. I've done them since the 1st of July this year. So it's been a bit manic. My life goes a bit up and down all the time. So I could be talking about anything on different live streams at any, like, I try to keep them mostly in the evening in the UK, between 11 and midnight. Have a good night and nice meeting you. I'll hit the bell. That's great. Okay, Lou, really nice to see you. Anyway, I love you and leave you. Take care. Have a good night. Bye, Heather. Bye, Lou. And bye, Michael. And I will see you soon on another video. Take care. Bye. Night. Sweet dreams. Bye.